Hey guys! So it has been a while, about a month since I last posted, which is out of the norm for me. I normally try to post weekly, so obviously it's been a while since I last posted, and some of you have probably wondered where I've been. Let's get this out of the way first before we move on to the questions, because obviously you can tell this is already. But I haven't been in the best headspace recently. I've had no motivation to do anything. So it's been hard to really get the motivation to make videos. I have wanted to. I feel really bad that I haven't posted for so long. But I just thought, if you push yourself, you're gonna feel worse. So just take the time you need and slowly make your way back into it. And that is what we're doing today. I am trying to make myself do something to get back into that. And I think the best way to do that is to do something that I have wanted to do for a while, something that is fairly simple and includes you lovelies. And that is a little Q&A. I've always wanted to do a Q&A because I like to be quite open with you guys. I like to talk about different things that I like and share all of my interests, because believe it or not, I like other things besides Zelda. And so I thought, let's do a Q&A. It's going to be pretty simple, just answer some questions and we can share some stuff with you lovelies as we make our way back into getting more motivated. And I can feel I am already getting more motivated to do more stuff. So I asked you guys on YouTube and I asked you guys on Discord. I have a Discord, by the way. I don't really talk about it much, but I asked you guys on both of them to send me some questions that you would like to have me answer, and they could be about pretty much anything. And so you guys have responded with some questions and I'm very excited to answer these. So let's get started. So let's start this off with a very simple but very, very important question. Do I have a pet? The answer is yes. I have 3 pets. I have 1 cat and 2 dogs. I did have another cat, but we sadly lost him last year. He lived a very long life, but yeah, we sadly lost him last year. But we have 3 pets still. We have 1 cat, his name is Ant, and he is very old, very, very old. And then we have 2 dogs called Pepper and Susie. Pepper is the older dog. They're both border collies. They are blood sisters. I don't know if that's important or anything to you, but I think it's cool. And they are very, very cute, and I love them to bits. They are hyper and they make me very happy, and I love them. And I will hopefully put some pictures of them so you guys can see their beautiful little doggy faces and cat face. Yeah, I have 3 pets and I love them. Next up is there anything in the Zelda franchise that downright scared you? So I did a video last year for Halloween talking about things in the Zelda series that creeped me out and scared me. So if you want to know a handful of them, I'll put a link somewhere for you to go check that out. One thing that I don't think I mentioned, I can't remember, I haven't watched the video for a while, but one thing I don't think I mentioned was the Silent Realms. And as Skyward Sword is coming out fairly soon, that seems like a good one to mention. The Silent Realms are terrifying, and the Guardians in Skyward Sword are 100 times more terrifying than the ones in Breath of the Wild. I just can't even put the ones in Breath of the Wild and the ones in Skyward Sword in the same tier list of how much they freak me out. You go into a world where it's all kind of somewhat distorted. You have to be sneaky, you're on a time limit, you have no weapons, the monsters are indestructible, you can't kill them. That's just a ton of panic. And yeah, the Silent Realms in Skyward Sword are horrifying, and I cannot wait to go and see them again when the game comes out in a couple of months. I can't remember exactly. It's in a couple of months, and I'm very excited to do it, and I'm very excited to play it on the channel. So I hope you guys are looking forward to that as well. Next is, what other Nintendo franchises do you play, if any? I mainly play Zelda, but I really love Metroid. Metroid is my second favorite Nintendo series. I really love that series and I cannot wait for any new Metroid content. Give me a brand new game, give me a remake, give me Prime 4. I have been waiting for Prime 4 or any news on that game for so long now. It feels like the game is never going to come out, and it makes me sad because I just want to play it now. But yeah, Metroid is my second favorite Nintendo series. I absolutely love it. Along with that though, I also play Animal Crossing. I love Animal Crossing, it's really chill. I haven't played it as much recently. I go through times with New Horizons that I just don't play it for months, and then I do play it for months, and like, you play it 3 months in a row, you don't play it 3 months in a row. You play it 3 months in a row, that's pretty much what I go with. But with past games, I played New Leaf every single day for 2 years, even just a little bit. Every single day I played that game for 2 years straight, and I love New Leaf. It's so much fun. Along with that, obviously I play Mario, I play Smash Bros, I play all of the main ones, I guess. I've played Pikmin before. Now I'm thinking about it, I can't remember half of them, but that's pretty much it. My main ones are Zelda, obviously, and Metroid. Staying with the kind of do you play certain games, we have do you play on PlayStation or Xbox? What are your favourite franchises on them? So I have never owned an Xbox, but I actually grew up on PlayStation before I had Nintendo stuff. So my older brothers had like a PlayStation and a PlayStation 2, and I would obviously play them when they weren't. And then I think they left them here, or my mum bought us our own ones. But I played PlayStation before I played Nintendo, and then I went through being a whole Nintendo only person. I would only play Nintendo for most of like my teen years and stuff. And it was only, when was that? It was only a few years ago, maybe like 4 years ago, whenever Final Fantasy 15 came out, that I got a PlayStation again. I think I always had a PlayStation 2, but I never played it. But I got a PlayStation 4 when Final Fantasy 15 came out. I love Final Fantasy, and I really wanted to play 15. I thought it looked really cool. There was also World of Final Fantasy that was coming out around the same time, and I wanted to play both of them. So I got a PlayStation 4, and I got those 2 games for Christmas, and that was it. But since then, I have gone on to get a lot of different games for the PlayStation. I am a very big fan of The Last of Us, so not so much The Last of Us 2. And I have also become a very, very big Resident Evil fan. If you guys follow me on Twitter, and even if you've been following me on YouTube for a while, you will know that I like Resident Evil. I got into Resident Evil with Resident Evil 2 a couple of years ago, the remake, and I fell in love with the series, and I pretty much went and got every single Resident Evil mainline game and just played them. It's a really fun series, and it makes me laugh when people say like, what are your favorite series? Because they obviously know I like Zelda, and sometimes they're not expecting me to say Resident Evil because it's such a drastic leap in tone from Zelda. But over time, I've kind of realized that Resident Evil games are just games where you're in one giant Zelda dungeon. That's how my brain is like perceived it. So I guess that is the reason. Like classic Resident Evil. So yeah, I have a PlayStation and I mainly play Final Fantasy and Resident Evil. Though I have been playing recently, more than pretty much anything else, the Attack on Titan game. I really like the Attack on Titan game. It's really fun. I've been playing that way too much lately, but I have been in Attack on Titan, like hyperfixation Attack on Titan for about a month. That's pretty much the only thing I've been able to do this past month, is just read and watch and play Attack on Titan. So next up is, what's your opinion on Ganondorf as the main villain of the Zelda series? Do you think he should be replaced by a new villain in the future? So I think a lot of people at this point know that I love Ganondorf, maybe a little bit too much. He is my favorite Zelda character, not just my favorite Zelda villain, he is my all-time favorite Zelda character. I love him, I think he's such an interesting character, and I'm very excited to see him again in Breath of the Wild 2. This is kind of weird though, because obviously I don't want him to go. A lot of people are saying they want him to die off, like completely, like break the curse in Breath of the Wild 2 and then use different villains. But I don't think no, Nintendo won't do that. He's such a popular villain, that'd be like killing off Bowser. But at the same time, yes, I love seeing Ganondorf. It's been like 15 years, I think, since we saw him in a game. Not counting, obviously, remakes and stuff, but Ganondorf human form, we haven't seen since Twilight Princess, and obviously not counting Hyrule Warriors. We haven't seen him for that long, so it's obviously really fun and really cool that we get to see him again. And he actually doesn't turn up that much in the series. People kind of say that he's in every Zelda game. He isn't. He's only in like 4. Like human form Ganon, he's only in like 4. So obviously I want to see him. I want to see him in games because I think it's always really cool. But at the same time, I love the other villains of the Zelda series. Majora, Girahim, Vati, even Dark Link. I've wanted to see Dark Link as the main villain of a Zelda game for so long now. I think it could be really, really cool to have Dark Link. I guess he kind of was in Four Swords, like with Vati and Ganon, but I want to see Dark Link as a main villain. I do, I really do. So yeah, I want to see Ganondorf pretty much at any time there's a new Zelda game. I'm like, I hope Ganondorf is in this. But at the same time, I love the wacky and weird villains that the Zelda series has, because they are so interesting, and they're most of the time a very big, like, they differ a lot to Ganondorf. Ganondorf is your stereotypical kind of like brooding, kind of big muscular guy that can really just, like, you can tell that, oh, that's the evil guy, that's the evil bad guy, he's going to kill me. And then you have characters like Girahim, who are very flamboyant, very different in tone and in body structure and the way they look in general, and I love I just love how different they can be. So I love Zelda villains. I think they're just like the best parts of Zelda games. They are, well, one of the best parts of Zelda games. So whenever it is, if we get Ganondorf, we get Ganondorf, and I'm very happy. If we get new villains, I'm very happy. And you know what? I really like seeing new villains. All of the new villains, I feel like this is going to be a really long talk, but all of the new villains that Nintendo has brought out have always been so good and so memorable for the most part. Girahim is amazing. Majora is amazing. Even more recently with Yuga. Yuga is one of my favorite villains. He is the only Zelda villain that I have cosplayed, and I am so happy because he is such a fun character. He is very similar to Girahim, but I love the villains. I think they're amazing. I could talk about them for ages, so I'm gonna cut this off now before I do. Next is, what was the first Zelda game that you felt connected to? Oh, this is a hard one, honestly. Wind Waker is kind of the go-to because it's my favorite, and I have a lot of good memories, and it's just one of those games that when I think about it, I just feel happy. I'm like, oh, good memories, sailing on the sea, and it makes me feel like good. It's like a good summer game in my eyes. That feels weird to say, like it's a summer game, but when I think of it, I think of like just sitting in my room as a kid playing it with like the sun coming down and it's all hot, and that's weird. But at the same time, I'd say Phantom Hourglass. It was the first Zelda game I played, and I felt so connected to it, even though I didn't finish it for years because I got stuck on a very stupid puzzle. But I love Phantom Hourglass, and I think if you guys have been around a while, you know that I like Phantom Hourglass. I mean, I have the Phantom Hourglass in my current YouTube icon. I love Phantom Hourglass. I think it's a highly underrated and overly hated game. And I think that people always say that, oh, your first Zelda game is always your favorite. Phantom Hourglass isn't my favorite. Wind Waker's my favorite, but it's a game that means so much to me. Like, it's what got me into the series. I love the characters. Oshus, Ciela, or I can't remember how you say her name, the fairy, and obviously Limebeck. They are just like, they're such good characters, and it's such a overly hated game that I think it's, over the years I've realized that people just don't like it, so I feel even more connected to it because I do like it. I'm like, I must protect it. I am the protector of this game, and I love it. So yeah, I'm gonna say Phantom Hourglass for that one. So next up from Astrid is, do you sometimes have difficulties to play games / Zelda as a girl? For example, mean comments from others. I'm asking because I'm a girl and I sometimes don't know what to do, or don't know how to react to some stuff. So when it specifically comes to Zelda or the Zelda community, I don't think I've really had any problems with the Zelda community, and I never hear problems. If there's any drama or any hate or people being rude, it's kind of sorted out quickly, or it's just been like a troll, someone being just being a dick, like, because that's who they are. I never really hear anything about people saying that, oh, Zelda fans or the Zelda community is toxic, or these people are toxic and all that kind of stuff. I never really hear anything about that. If you've been around for a while, I think most people in the Zelda community, most of the YouTubers, well, pretty much all of the Zelda YouTubers and content creators that I know and I've talked to, all say the same thing. The Zelda community is one of, if not the most chill community for games, like gaming communities that we can be a part of. It's kind of creepy just how different the Zelda community is to others, because it's so chill. Like, everyone is just kind of chill. There's so many people who in this, like, everyone grew up, a lot of people grew up with Zelda, and so many people are just fans of it that we just don't really care. We just love the game and we don't start drama or fights over it. When it comes to like being a girl in the Zelda community is fantastic because there is a lot of guys who play Zelda, and there's also a ton of girls who play Zelda. And at times, I think there are more girls that play Zelda than guys. Like, I don't have statistics, I can't speak statistics or anything, but just from what I see, like, I think the majority of YouTubers are like male YouTubers in the Zelda community. But when you look at artists and all these other stuff, there's a lot of girls, and I think that's a really good thing for the Zelda community, having a lot of like different people. And it's great that we can all kind of, like, all these different people, all these different genders, all these different backgrounds, we'll just get on so well in the Zelda community. It's great. There's never really anything bad going on. So when it comes to that, no. When it comes to other games, yeah. The only thing I can really think of is Overwatch. Obviously Overwatch is Overwatch though, so it's just toxic mess. But luckily for me, I've never been, I guess, hated on for being a girl playing games as much. Not counting when I was in school, because that was like every freaking day, because, oh my god, you're a girl? You play video games? That's weird. Yeah, that's pretty much the only time. The only time in the Zelda community I can think of is someone making fun of my name and getting angry over my name, SuperZeldaGirl, because they thought my name was saying I was better than them at being a Zelda fan or something. So that's the only bit of Zelda drama I can ever think of that I've been involved in, and that was like settled in one day. But luckily for me, I have personally never had anything that I can think of. I am always worried that there's going to be someone who is just a dick and being mean for the sake of being mean. But I think those people do that no matter who you are. Like, they're just going to do it, and you've just got to either deal with it or wait for them to leave or block them or anything like that. So yeah, luckily I haven't had to deal with that, but the kind of small times in other games and other communities I have, it's not been too bad. So next up is, I'm really curious about the cosplay. Never seen a Zelda cosplay before. I also think playing other games that you like and posting them as a Let's Plays would be a great idea to expand your sub-community. So with cosplay, I haven't really talked about this much on the channel for a while. I did some videos a while ago showing how to make props and stuff for Zelda related props. But I'm a cosplayer. I have been cosplaying for around 7 years, maybe? It's been a while. And I mainly cosplay Zelda characters. I've cosplayed Link, I've cosplayed multiple different Zeldas, I've cosplayed Yuga that I mentioned before, and I also cosplay other characters from other media like anime, and like I've cosplayed, I think, the Joker. Yeah, I cosplayed the Joker and Harley Quinn at some point. I am currently working on a new cosplay, which isn't Zelda related. It's the first cosplay that I've made in a very long time, because conventions have obviously been dead, so I haven't been able to really do anything, but I wanted to make this character, and so I did it, and I've made a cosplay of Peak from Attack on Titan. Obviously, I said earlier, I've been in Attack on Titan head brain rot recently, so I've made a Peak cosplay, and I love it, and I can't wait for cons to come back so I can wear it. But yeah, cosplay is something that I love, and I'd actually really love to bring it into my channel more, whether that be when conventions are back, bringing in like convention vlogs and all that kind of stuff. I've also really wanted to do making cosplays on the channel and stuff like that at some point. I think it'd be fun. If you guys want to see that, I'd be really happy to show it off and do stuff like that at some point, because it's something that I love. It's something that I put a lot of time and money into, and I think it's really cool, and I really like seeing, like, sharing what I make and like my costumes and all that. And I also like to see people get into cosplay. I've helped a lot of people I've known over the years slowly make their way into cosplay and like try it out, even if they didn't go on to do more. It's really fun. I really like cosplay, and I highly recommend that everyone in a nerd community cosplay at least one time in their life. I don't care if you're cosplaying Link or you're cosplaying Spider-Man. I want you to cosplay one character in your life at a convention if you can get to a convention. I think it's something that everyone should do at least once. It's so fun, and with that also go to conventions if you can, because they are also really fun, and I cannot wait for them to come back. When on the topic of other games, as I mentioned before, I do play other games, but some of you might remember I did put a Let's Play on this channel of Final Fantasy VII when that first came out, and then I moved it. So I was gonna put like other games on this channel at one point, but then I thought, nah, I want to kind of keep this mainly to Zelda and maybe a Metroid or Resident Evil video now and then. And so when I had all these Final Fantasy videos, it was just kind of like overload in my mind. So I made a whole other channel specifically for other games and streams and all that kind of stuff. And it is called Highly Ingesta, and I'll put a link to that somewhere around the video. So if you haven't already, you can go over and subscribe and check out my videos over there. I have playlists of all of my Final Fantasy, I have streams, I have a partly done Let's Play of The Last of Us Part 2 because I fell off of that game. I did not enjoy it at the end, so I'm kind of glad that I didn't do the whole thing, but that's a video for another time. But yeah, if you want to watch me play other video games, they are on that channel, and I really hope I can get some more videos on there at some point. Resident Evil 8 is coming out soon, like very soon. Very excited for that one, so I'm thinking I might either do a Let's Play, like what I've done on here with my Zelda Let's Plays and what I did with my Final Fantasy one of that, or I might stream it and then put it up onto that channel in different parts. So yeah, if you want to see me play other video games that are not Zelda related, I highly recommend checking out that second channel. It's very small. There's still a lot that I need to do with it, but yeah, it's there, and I hope you guys enjoy that. Next question is from the Bread Pirate, asking, what Zelda games have you not played? I honestly think I have played every Zelda game. I haven't finished every Zelda game. I have to finish a lot of them, honestly. Like, I know the SuperZeldaGirl hasn't finished every Zelda game. This is blasphemy. But yeah, I think I've played every Zelda game. Not counting, obviously, like the CDI games. No, I haven't played the CDI games. I will one day. All of the Tingle games. No, I haven't played all of the Tingle games. I've played one of them. The BS Zelda game. No, haven't played that. The Game & Watch. I've played one of them. I've played the Game & Watch dual screen, but I haven't played the Watch Game & Watch. So yeah, when it comes to main Zelda games, I've played, I think, all of them. Again, haven't finished all of them, but I have played all of them, at least a little bit. Side games, spin-offs, CDI, hell, no, I haven't played all of them, but one day I will, and I'm looking forward to that day when I can own all of them as well. I don't own physical copies of all the Zelda games yet, which is making me angry, because I feel that I should have physical copies of Zelda 1 and Zelda 2, at least, just there, and I don't have them yet, and it feels wrong. So one day I will. Next is from Hyrule Gamer, asking, I ask, what is your favourite piece of Zelda merchandise that you own? This is a really hard one. I feel really bad picking a favourite out of everything, like one thing. So I will probably take some photos of a few items and post them here. If I did that, cool. If not, let me just say, my most recent bit of Zelda merchandise that I've gotten is the First 4 Figures Majora's Mask statue that lights up. The newest one, not the really big expensive one, though I really wish I had that one. It looks so pretty. That's my newest, and it's one of my favorites instantly. It's so pretty. The lights look so cool. You can hang it on the wall. It's just a really nice piece. I also really love the items that are things that I've wanted since I was really little. There's a lot, mainly that's Phantom Hourglass stuff. I love, obviously I said Phantom Hourglass is my favorite, it was my first. So I remember seeing a lot of Phantom Hourglass merchandise when I was younger. And so now I'm older and I have money, I can go back and buy those things. So I recently, well, not so recently, but I bought like the Phantom Hourglass feathered stylus. That is something that I really love. I got the kind of a lunchbox tin that you could put your DS in. I got these really tiny Link plushies that I love, and I think they're really cute. So there's a lot of different stuff, but hopefully I will remember to put in some photos of some of my favorite things, and so you guys can see them, because I have a lot, and you guys know I have a lot, and I keep buying more because I have no self-control. But yeah, I have a lot of favorites, so I can't just pick one, so I will put in some photos, hopefully, of some of my favorites. From Lost Arts on my Discord, they ask, what are some video game series that have looked interesting to you, but you've never managed to properly start or get into them? This is a really good question, and I have 2 examples that are perfect for this, because I've talked about it slightly before of wanting to get into them, and that is Kingdom Hearts and Fire Emblem. I have a lot of friends that play Fire Emblem, and I've always thought it looked interesting, but at the same time, I just know that if I play Fire Emblem, I'm not going to enjoy it. I mean, it looks interesting, the characters look interesting, I think the stories kind of look interesting, but when I actually think of gameplay, I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna like this, and I just know it. Like, every time a new Fire Emblem has come out since, like, the 3DS, I've always thought, maybe I should get it. Maybe I should try it. And every time I'm also like, no, you're not going to enjoy it. So that's pretty much that for Fire Emblem. With Kingdom Hearts is like, stresses me out and scares me a little. I did try to get into it. I do own the first 2 games. I did have one for 3DS as well, but I sold it because I just couldn't play it. But Kingdom Hearts is, again, a game that I have seen for years, that I recognize is probably amazing, and I just can't get into it. I love Final Fantasy. I grew up on Disney, so it seems like something I'd like, but at the same time, whenever I've played it, like, the bits that I have played of the first 2, and like, I just can't get into it. I don't like the gameplay style, again, I just can't get into. And the story is terrifying. Just the thought of, like, I play video games partly for obviously playing the game, they're fun. I love playing video games for the stories. That might sound weird to some, because some people just think, no, people never play games for the stories. I play games for the stories. I am that person. And I just, the story of Kingdom Hearts just scares me. It's so much and so complicated. And then there's some people who, like, I know who play it, and I've said I can't because the story's so complicated, it will stress me out. And they're like, it's not complicated. I'm like, it is complicated. I don't want to have to play a ton of games just to understand how Mickey Mouse finds a toothbrush or something. I don't even know what I'm saying. Yeah, that's pretty much that with Kingdom Hearts and Fire Emblem. I recognize that both of them are iconic series and are probably amazing, but they're just games that I can't get into because, one, the gameplay isn't my type of thing, or I just don't think I'll be into it, and 2, story. Kingdom Hearts is a very intimidating franchise to me. Another one from my Discord is favorite Blight from Breath of the Wild, also tea, coffee, or both. Tea, coffee, or both. I like green tea. I only really drink, like, toffee coffee. Like, toffee coffee. Coffee that tastes, like, really sweet. So, I would say coffee more than tea. But honestly, I hardly drink them. But if I do drink them, coffee. I don't know. I like them both for different reasons. But, like, I think I'd go for coffee more than tea. And favourite Blight in Breath of the Wild is 100% Thunder Blight. Thunder Blight is the best Blight in Breath of the Wild. But when it comes to Age of Calamity, I think my favourite might be Wind Blight, because it's purple. I think that was the purple one. But yeah, random side note, not really related, kind of related. Breath of the Wild and Age of Calamity, like, why? How do the Blights in Age of Calamity look way better? I am sorry, but the Blights in Breath of the Wild, they're cool. I acknowledge that they are cool. But they are very boring at the same time because they all kind of look the same. And so just giving them colours in Age of Calamity makes them look so much cooler. So I'm gonna say in Breath of the Wild, my favourite is Thunder Blight. In Age of Calamity, yeah, Wind Blight is my favourite because it's purple and has triple barrel, like, gun arms, and it looks ridiculous. So yeah, Breath of the Wild, Thunder Blight Ganon. Age of Calamity, Wind Blight Ganon. And so I think I'm going to call that here. I've been talking for quite a while now, and I have covered most of the questions, but I am going to say there are actually quite a lot of questions still left. There was ones that I left out specifically because I may or may not have already thought about the things that you have asked me. These mainly being about what are your favourite things in games, and what are your favourite things in Zelda games, or your favourite topic of a Zelda game. And I have already thought about a lot of these because I've been thinking about maybe doing some top 5s on them, or top 10s on them. So, don't worry, I have seen all of your questions, I've seen all of them. And a lot of them, though, are really good, and I want to make them into kind of full-blown videos on those certain topics that you guys have asked me about. So I hope you guys don't feel bad that I didn't read all your questions. If I did miss out a question and you want me to answer it, send it to me again next time I ask. I've enjoyed doing this, so I will probably ask you guys for more questions for another one in maybe a few months or so. So if I didn't get to your question, put it down whenever I do that, and I will hopefully get to it in the next video. But yeah, those of you who asked on specific topics to do with Zelda stuff, I am probably going to make a video on that. So that's probably why I didn't get to it. Anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I know it's very different to usual, but I just thought, let's do a Q&A and talk about some things that you guys want to know about me, and I hope you guys have enjoyed it. It's been a lot of fun. I've enjoyed talking about certain topics that you guys have asked me, like cosplay and all that kind of stuff, and I probably will do one of these again in a few months, or like not straight away. I'll do one again at some point. And so when that comes, I hope you guys will ask me more questions, ask me more stuff about like different things like that you'd want to know about, random stuff, things that I don't know, do I like spaghetti? Ask me that. But yeah, I loved reading all these, and I hope you guys have enjoyed listening to me ramble on for God knows how long about these things. And yeah, thank you all for watching and getting to the end of this video. It always means a lot when people make it to the end, because obviously you have dealt with my rambling for so long. And yeah, I hope you guys again have enjoyed. I should be hopefully getting out new videos fairly soon. It might take a week or a couple after the point of this video has been out, so I can get back to work, but new videos should be coming out soon, and I hope you guys are looking forward to them. So again, thank you all so much for watching all the way to the end of this video. I hope you've all enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!